I know where I want to be in life. I know where I want to end up. And I see a vision for myself. I see a vision for this company. And, I'm going to take us there no matter what I got to do. So I'm zoned in, baby.
You are now tuning in to the Relentless Project. Real people, real stories, real life.
Well, I appreciate the aminos. It's going to get me through.
Yeah.
Just had a workout, so it's only right.
Yep. Get hydrated.
Well, welcome to the Relentless Project.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime, brother. This is Gregg Rudolph with 2 G's, so Don't confuse that.
Yep.
And I appreciate you bringing me into the office, the Project1 office. We're here to talk some ish on the Relentless Project.
Let's get it.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. What did you do before? Because this is relatively new.
Yeah. We're about 18, 19 months old, the company, anyways.
How long before you said 18 months? Did you go public at 18 months, or was there a lot of behind the scenes?
That was like when the first product came out. It was so Pat, my partner Patrick, Pat was the guy behind Axe and Sledge Nutrition, the formulator, one of the creators, owned many brands, American-made nutrition, all the way back to 20, 25 years ago. He started manufacturing, owning companies. So
all supplement based.
Yeah, all supplement based. He was a manufacturer before. He's been a formulator for 20 some years. He's really the glue behind all of this. He's the guy. You know what I mean? He's everybody
the wizard,
knows him.
right? The
He
wizard
is.
behind.
He is. Everybody knows him in this industry. So all you got to do is say his name, and people are like, oh yeah, I know Pat Williams. He's been behind many, many, many large brands. So he stepped away from Axe and Sledge, and he was just going to retire. He was done. But Zach, who is his oldest son, who was his national sales rep for Axe and Sledge, very successful, very good at what he does, also one of our partners. And Zach had a bunch of people hitting him up for creatine. Like, hey, man, I'm having trouble getting creatine. Can you get me creatine? And that's how Project1 started. Zach was like, Dad, we need to do something. Can you get me creatine? So they started with creatine, and then they're like, man, let's start another company, right? So I've always been close with Pat. I've always been close with Zach. And at the time, Zach was actually selling life insurance for me at my other building. And I had probably like a 1,200 square foot garage attached to my warehouse that was empty. I just put cars there and, storage and shit. So that became our inventory room. And we had shelves everywhere. We packed as much shit as we could in 1,200 square foot that you could possibly imagine. You couldn't move in this thing. So that's how Project1 started in my building, in that little, it was literally like, it's 4 times the size of this little office, right? And you're talking just hundreds of pallets of shit everywhere. It was a mess. So that's how Project1 started. And then we grew into this 9,000 square foot facility we're in now. And we got, private offices here and conference room, media room.
Sweet setup.
Marketing room. Yeah, it's badass.
I walked in, I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
Got the
got a
garage
storefront.
door. Do you guys push the storefront, or is this something
Yeah, we get traffic every day. People come in off the street every day.
Yeah, you're right off the turnpike there. Real cool. So Project1 kind of started as a project.
Started as a passion project,
not to play on words, but
you'll hear Pat say we started as a passion project a lot because it was more of a passion thing for him.
So you guys decide to start this brand. Mm-hmm. Why Project1? So many names, and it's cool because I was kind of excited for this because the Relentless Project is yourself,
Very
like
similar.
it's you, right?
Yep.
And then there's Project1.
Yeah.
I think we carry the same premise on the name. So why?
Yeah.
What made you guys choose Project1?
Man, when we started this, we wanted to be very different than any other supplement company out there. A lot of people in this industry, they target one demographic, the bodybuilders or the sports side or this or that. Project One is a company that everyone can relate to, right? An 18-year-old college kid, a 65-year-old grandma, anyone. We have literally something for everyone. And we're that type of company that we just don't want to pigeonhole ourselves where we're stuck in this one demographic. We want to be more of a lifestyle brand for everyone. And that's what Project One means, because you're never going to be your biggest, you're always going to be your biggest critic, right? You look in the mirror, it's you versus you. That's our slogan. So that's what Project One is. It's all about you versus you getting better, being a better version of yourself, through health and wellness. Obviously, we're a health and wellness company. So that's what it's all about.
Well, I think a lot of that starts with health and wellness, changing your mindset, changing behaviors. A lot of time, you see this, especially, two people are together, then a breakup happens, and then it's I'm going to focus on me, I'm going to better me. And then what's the first thing they resort to?
Right.
The gym, health, fitness. And unfortunately, it usually takes a traumatic event, right? We get news from our doctor, hey, this is going on with you. Wow, well, now I got to better my health, fitness.
Yep.
It's always, I feel
Gotta
like
get
all
healthy, gotta
revolves.
get right.
Yeah. If you can't take care of yourself in that way, how are you expected to take care of anybody else?
It's a good way to look at it.
So that's an awesome, I like the name. The name. Before Project One, you said you sold insurance.
So still do to this day.
Okay.
I've been doing that for about 7 years. I guess we'll start from the beginning. I was a 5-sport athlete my whole life. Really enjoyed sports. Wanted to participate in sports in college. Was a really good baseball player, wrestler, football. I was in everything. Basketball, even basketball for being 5'8".
Hey,
I was a beast.
I feel you. I'm 5'7".
Right. So I was just a really good athlete. I've done it all. I went to college here in Clarion in Pennsylvania.
Small world.
Lived in a wrestling house with my cousin and actually my brother and bunch of wrestlers from Clarion. It was a shit show. It was great. I lasted about 2 semesters before I realized I don't want to be in college. I don't need it. I've always had an entrepreneurial mindset. So left college the second semester, went home, and I started my first company, which was Rudolph Enterprises Tree Service and Construction Company. So went to the bank. My parents co-signed on a $75,000 line of credit for me. Bought a bucket truck, dump truck, chipper, bunch of chainsaws, climbing equipment.
All in.
Stump grinder, chipper, all that shit. And I was making shit. It didn't take me no less than 11, 12 months where I was making, $250 a year as a 19-year-old kid. And I loved it. Loved it. It was awesome. Tree service is fun. It's a great way to get out there. I like being outside, I like working with my hands. And we did other things like concrete, and we did, hardscape and stuff too. But the main thing was tree service, where I got my nickname later on in the fight game as the lumberjack. That's where that came from.
Okay.
Right?
I did a little we'll talk about that because I'd like to segue into
So it kind
that.
of followed me. But I did that for a good 7 years, and it was very successful. And I still get people to this day that still call me. I'm like, man, I haven't done that in 10, 15 years. Sorry. Here's someone else I can recommend you to. But I ended up having to close that company. And at the time, my daughter, my oldest daughter, Gia, she developed leukemia, which is cancer, blood cancer, when she was 4.5. And it was awful. We lived at Children's Hospital for months at a time. I mean, like 6 months at a time, 3 months at a time. I think the longest stint we did was like 9 months, where we basically lived there. So my business kind of went to shit because I wouldn't leave her side at night, and I slept there and pretty much lived there. And it was the worst time of my life. It was just a helpless feeling. But 3 years of battling that, she was cancer free, did the whole chemo thing, and
That's awesome.
God bless her, she's normal. You wouldn't even be able to tell now. But ended up having to file bankruptcy because of the debt that I accrued. You got tons of equipment over the course of, 3, 4, 5 years. It's a lot of debt. And when you're not working, you can't pay your bills. And it just got to the point where I was like, man, I got to hang up the towel. And that was when I found fighting, because I was just getting in a lot of trouble. I was taking my frustrations out on alcohol, and the alcohol would kind of just get me enraged, and I would fight a lot in public places.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Growing up, I was,
Yep.
that was like my escape, as if that was a solution to stuff. But at that time, you don't really know, And if you don't mind me asking, like, how were you able to get through that leukemia? Because I have a friend right now battling multiple myeloma, and the mental battles that come with that,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. And it's affected everyone in our circle, and we're not even going through that,
Right.
But
Right.
it's like, what was something that kind of got you through those tough days? Because people listening to this, they're battling all kinds of things, and I know there's folks out there who are like, I can't do this. This is it for me. Like, how were you able to get through that?
It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do to watch her get through it. You know what I mean? I wasn't the one going through it. It was her. It's a helpless feeling that you have as a parent. I think now, as a 41-year-old person that I am now, I would have handled it a lot different than a 25-year-old kid, 24-year-old kid. So I think just the way I got through it was, I had faith, obviously. I found a lot of faith, and, I had a lot of support from friends and family that got me through it. And, it's Children's Hospital is a great place. So I knew we were fortunate to be in Pittsburgh, with one of the best hospitals throughout the country. People travel
Amazing
all over
network.
the country to come to Children's Hospital. So, I think we got lucky, and, by the grace of God, we got through it. And it was definitely the hardest thing that I've ever had to go through. I lost my mind.
I can't even
I lost
imagine.
my mind.
I
I was a
can't
different
imagine.
person. I was, I ended up doing 16 hours in the county jail because of it. I just lost my mind. I think the first time I got in trouble, they put me on 3 years probation, and then that kept turning into adding more probation. And there was a time where I was on probation for 5 years, and this was the time I was drinking a lot. I was fighting, and I was just a nasty, violent person, and I just hated life. You know what I mean? I didn't have everything I worked for, I lost, and just seeing her suffer, and it was horrible. So I didn't really know how to react. And that's when I had to make a decision. I was like, Jesus, I gotta get my shit together. I'm not gonna be able to help anybody if I'm in jail, right? So, good friend of mine, till this day, he's a good friend of mine, Rick Borowski. He's good dude. He at the time he was fighting MMA, and I would go to hit a couple of his fights, and I saw him fight this one time, and he knocked this kid out in like 11 seconds. And I walked him out to the cage and everything, and I was just so fired up. I had goosebumps, like, man, I want to do this shit, right? And so he was like, why don't you just come to the gym with me, work out some frustration? Well, I did, and I got really good at it, and I enjoyed it. And it was a way to keep me out of the bars, and, I was getting better, and it taught me mental toughness. And there's no humility in life like going into a mixed martial arts gym and getting your ass kicked by somebody. It's the most humbling experience you'll ever have. Boxing, gym, anything, jiu-jitsu, anything
agree.
like that. Like you think you're tough, or you go in there with a trained fighter that does this shit every day, that has fight camps, that just lives to do this shit, and see how tough you are. See how long you last. There's a difference between being in shape and being in fight shape. There's people who are comfortable doing this.
They
and
do
it's
it for fun.
Right, exactly. It's repetitive
It's
for them.
crazy.
So it's a big, humbling experience. And I fell in love with the humility, the challenges, the vision that I had for myself. Like, all right, how far can I take this? This sucks. It's hard. You get embracing the suck of it. You know what I mean? So that really helped me. And I think it really changed my life for the better, and taught me a lot of discipline. Just got me through a really tough time in my life that till this day, I still think really saved my life.
Fighting, I used to fight all the time growing up. Grew up in Lower East Side of Erie. Well, I thought I was fighting every day, and then I got into one of these MMA gyms, and I was that young, like,
Oh, yeah.
dude, I do this all the time. I got my ass whooped.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and then I learned like this. There's a structure to this. There's a science. There's a prep. There's all kind like fighting is a sport nonetheless where you have to train. You have to. And that's when I like fell in love with that. And I've always been an MMA fan and stuff, but that was really the like, wow, there's so much more to this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so what you got into fighting.
Yep.
Did you end up going pro or did you stay AMI? Like what was what
I
how
did
far you
I did
reach?
like 6 or 7 amateur fights and I didn't want to wear headgear or big gloves. I just wanted to bang, I just wanted to knock people out. So I turned pro after like 6 or 7 amateur fights. But during that time, a friend of mine who was basically you could call him like my mentor in the fight game. He till this day he's a beast in this game. He owns Southside Boxing Club. His name is Matt Layshawk. He owned Pinnacle Fighting Championships. And this was the same time that I got introduced to him. And he's one of my closest friends. Him and Rick, they were both in my wedding. Like these dudes, we would die for each other. That's how close we are. But Matt taught me basically, he's like, let's get you into boxing. Like, you love knocking people out. You love throwing your hands. Let's do some boxing. So we did a couple amateur boxing matches, Golden Gloves, won that, all that shit. Then me and him were like, let's go pro. But during this whole time, he introduced me to a guy who owned Pittsburgh Fight Club at the time. His name's Mick. Great guy. Mick and Melissa. So Mick and Melissa were trying to get out of the gym business and just focus on their business, which was they own like one of the best signage companies around. They're huge. So I ended up getting the gym off of them for $1. Basically inherited it. They gave it to me. So I started doing that, started running the gym with people that are still one of close friends of mine, Kama Worthy. Kama made it to the UFC. Mark Cherico. Mark Cherico is probably one of the toughest, definitely one of the toughest dudes around. He's built like me. He's got massive legs. Once he gets on top of you, you're not going anywhere.
It's night.
He had a tryout with the UFC, didn't go his way, but that's another guy that could have made it very, very far. But him, Cody Garbrandt was working there at the time. That's how me and Cody met each other. He's UFC world champ, still doing his thing in the UFC. There's tons of people in that gym that were just coming up through the amateurs and the lower level ranks and the pros that made it very, very far. There's some that are still, competing like a Cody, and Kama's still fighting. But owned that for a while, and then it wasn't. It was fun. I got to train while I was working, so it was a really good fit. Met a ton of great people, had a great bunch of great relationships. Obviously, you got better at fighting because you're just in the gym all day, and you got to help. I liked it because I got to help out a lot of kids. I brought in another great friend of mine who was in my wedding, Chris Williams, who was my other boxing coach. Chris is getting inducted into the Hall of Fame for 247
I
fighting.
saw that. I thought that name sounded familiar.
So
yeah.
happy for him. He's just the greatest dude you'll ever meet.
There's
in your
like
life.
2 people there in the
Right.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
so-
him and Isaac.
yeah.
So good company.
Isaac, who I had on here,
Yep.
good dude.
I get to
man.
induct him in April.
That's
April
sweet.
20th.
20th.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
Yeah, it'd
I'll
be
actually
sweet.
be there.
Yeah, for sure. But I made Chris the boxing coach there. He had classes for kids, for women, for beginners, for pros. So that really just took off and gave him a platform where he could shine. So he became the boxing coach for Kama and all these other guys who were, he got to be on Showtime a few times. Him and Bill Hutchinson, another dude that was in my wedding. So like all these dudes are
It's a
like the
network.
closest
Yeah,
people
you
in my
built a
life.
network.
Like Hutch just fought Adrian Broner. Like these are people that actually did something in this sport. And these are all people that I've met through fighting that are my closest friends in life. So it brought me so much joy, and it brought me my circle of closest friends. And but the gym wasn't making a lot of money. Like I was paying the bills, I was paying myself a little bit of money, but it wasn't paying the bills. Or I was used to making like a couple $100,000, right? And I can't make $1,000 a week once you make a couple $100,000. So I ended up giving it to Mark Cherico. for the same thing. I'm going to pass this gym on to you. Here you go. It's yours. And I stepped away from it. And then I just fought for about 6 months. And then I got to the point where I was like, fuck, I got to get a job. Right? I had some money saved up.
Yeah, fighting don't pay the bills too
No,
much.
I was lucky enough to, right before I filed bankruptcy, I bought a house in cash, put it in my parents' name, fixed it up with cash, with my construction company. So it was like a brand new house, really nice ranch, but I owned it, so I didn't have a mortgage. So I didn't really have too many bills. I still had some stupid cars that I was paying on that, you know, I'm a car freak, you know that. I love cars.
Yeah, I've seen your.
But
May have seen it.
yeah, but I got, you know, I'm to the point where like, fuck, dude, I'm broke, you know? And so I took a job at the service department at Watson Chevrolet, making $900 a week, right? And I'm sitting there the whole entire time. My boy Sammy, I did that for probably about 6 months. And then my boy Sammy Iovino, he is probably one of the best car salesmen you'll ever meet in your life. He's just slick, but great dude.
Aren't they all?
Yeah,
Aren't
he's very,
the
very
damn
slick.
cars?
Very slick. He's got the gold glasses. He's, you know what I mean? He's a great guy. Italian. I mean, he's the man. But he would always come over like, babe, you got to sell. You got to come over and sell with us. And I'm like, I don't want to be a fucking car salesman. I don't want to be a sleazy car salesman. You know, that's like the picture I had in my head. You know, I was like, I don't want to say I'm better than that because I did extremely well, and it put me in a place to win.
So you actually started selling.
Yeah.
Cars.
So I finally listened to him, and I started selling, and I cleaned up. I mean, I went from making $900 a week to, you know, $200,000 a year again. I was selling 50, 60 cars a month. Number one salesman every month. Just took over. They gave me the internet sales, so I was in charge of the internet, everything that came in, the business development manager to a salesman, all that shit. They gave me a lot of responsibility. I didn't take a day off. I got addicted to it, and I was making a ton of money, tons of money. And I was back to the place where I was like, oh man, I got a nice little nest egg. You know, I'm happy. My work-life balance kind of sucked because I was fighting at the same time. But luckily, the guy that owned the dealership would let me kind of just do my own thing because I was overperforming.
Yeah,
I was doing the work of 3 people, and he would let me come and go as I pleased. I would go to the gym on my lunch break. I would train in the morning. I would train in the evening when I got home from work. I'd go to the track and run, skip out, go to the boxing gym, come back, deliver 3, 4 cars. You know, I was just busy. Picking up my daughter from school, she'd come in and hang out with the rest of the day with me there, you know. So I had a lot of freedom there, but I was super busy and I didn't really have a life. Every Saturday I was working, every holiday I was working. So I got approached by a gentleman named Simon Arias, who owns Arias Agencies here in Wexford. We've got, I think, 24, 25 offices in 15, 16 different states now. But at the time, we just kind of met up and we were talking, you know, business. He was interested in, my fighting career and wanted to sponsor me for my next fight or whatever. And he's like, you ever think about selling life insurance? Here we go again, you know, someone's recruiting me. So I met him for lunch. I liked what he had to hear. And it all sounds sincere. And that was 7 years ago. I was at the dealership for about 3.5 years. So I ended up taking the leap, and I did it, and just was super fortunate to be one of the people that really were good at it and was able to build teams. So I think under my you call it hierarchy, I think I've got about 130 people that are selling under me right now. You know, these are just 1099 people that are just killers at sales. All they do is virtual life insurance sales. So there's, you know, I've been able to make $300,000, $400,000, $600,000, $700,000 in a year doing that. And that really put me in a place where I was able to win, not only in business, but in life. So I started, you know, one thing that I did and I promised myself was when I started making good money again, I'm not going to waste it on shit. Like I used to waste it on boats and cars and just crazy lifestyle. But I took the money that I was making from the life insurance industry and I invested all the money into other businesses. So I started buying real estate again. I bought a car wash. These are all tangible assets that are, my money's out there making more money. So, you know what I mean? I have multiple income streams that I turned 1 into 3 to 4. And that is what I really learned to do as an entrepreneur, was not to just get the flashy shit. Man, you need income streams, right? Like anyone can go buy a nice car and pay $2,000 a month and look like a
Hotshot,
king
baller,
shit,
yeah.
right? Like it doesn't mean anything.
And social media makes everyone fall
Yeah.
into that little crutch.
When you're flipping businesses and you're buying businesses and you're 10xing your money, like that is what is important in life. Because without income streams, I mean, you're screwed, right? So that's what I've started focusing on, and that's something that Patrick Williams noticed in me. Pat was actually my first sponsor. That's how me and him met each other.
For fighting?
Yep. So he owned Reaction Nutrition. They were in Carnegie. A friend of mine, Mike, he was their graphic designer, and Mike Shulo. And Mike Shulo introduced me to Pat and said, "This is Greg. He's a local MMA fighter. He's looking for sponsors." Me and Pat just hit it off. So they were my first big sponsor. And then I actually liked everything about being in the supplement industry. So, I had a code, just like we have the affiliate program, and I had my own code. But I took it a step further. I turned into like a sales job. So through my contacts and my network, I just started reaching out to people like, "Hey, can I come to your store, do a demo for you? Here's these products." And I was, I could talk about them where I could sound educated and tell them why they need it, what's it going to do for them. You know what I mean? And people ate it up. I did a lot of stuff online, did a lot of promo videos on like Facebook and things like that. And, a couple months later, I was making $3,000, $4,000 a month as an affiliate.
Pushing the code.
Yeah, just getting a 10% commission, right? But then I started adding on stores. So it's like a sales rep position. So that's how me and Pat got hooked up. So he always knew I was a hustler. Like I work. You know what I mean? He never had to worry about me. And we stayed in contact the whole entire time of whatever I was doing. Never anything we did, we were not in contact. But so he was following my success as well. So I think that was a determining factor on why we want to start Project One, because really, it was Pat's thing. He didn't have to bring me in, but he saw, okay, Greg's got a good network. He's a good business guy. He can take Project One to another level. Me, him, his son. We have another partner, Tiago, in Brazil. Like the 4 of us, his son B, basically another partner. But the 5 of us, man, like we get shit done. So it's just a good fit for all of us.
It's a lot of growth.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of moving parts. And like even before you got to Project One, you made a lot of these tough decisions. You said you were making good money selling cars. You're comfortable.
I didn't want to, dude, it was the hardest decision I ever had to make.
So what
I didn't
was
want to walk
that?
away from it.
Like, you're selling a tangible asset, cars.
Yeah.
People,
Yeah.
Cars go, and then people got to buy another one from you. It's almost like a recurring income stream. What was that decision for you to go, I'm going to jump over here to sell insurance, which isn't something you necessarily see.
Dude, I was so good at it. I gave people such a good experience. That was the one thing that I did. I gave people like a red carpet experience when they bought a car. Like I put a bow on it. I'd put a red carpet out. I would go to your house, take your trade, drive it back to the dealership, bring your new car to you. You didn't even have to leave your freaking house. Like I did so much shit where people were like, "This is the best I've ever had. You're the best guy ever." Blah, 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 blah. So I actually did enjoy it because I wasn't like a salesy type of guy. I was just good to people and I knew what people wanted. I asked a lot of questions and I just delivered on what they wanted. I mean, it's all about affordability. What do you want? And it just give people a good experience. But that's a whole nother concept, a whole nother conversation. But it was hard for me to make the leap because the last year I worked there, I made like $220,000. And coming from making $900 a week, I felt like, man, I don't want to fuck this up, right? because you leave. I never ever burn a bridge anywhere.
That's funny you mentioned that.
Ever?
I was this morning, I'm like brushing my teeth, and I had read some on Instagram about burning bridges, and I was like,
Yeah.
I never burn a bridge, but
No.
I will allow a bridge to be burned.
Yeah.
But like I will never burn
people
a bridge.
burn bridges with me all
Yeah,
the time.
and it's like, okay, cool.
I'm like, yep, cool. I'm
That's funny
eliminate you
you
from my
mentioned
life.
that.
But yeah, but because these people I cared about, we were brothers.
Yeah,
and
they
we
gave you
still
that
are brothers. I was
opportunity.
out with them in a limo for 3 or 4 of them 2 weeks ago. We went, had fun. But these are still people I talk to
Had
every
fun.
day. Yeah,
We'll
can't-
leave it at that.
My wife's probably no, just kidding, Kendall. But it was hard for me to leave. I actually really thought about it for like 3-4 weeks. But I was like, you know what? I just had a son. My daughter was getting older. I want to spend more time with my family. Man, my brother would come up every weekend and my other boys, and like they would drive through on their Harleys and they'd be bar hopping and having fun on Saturday. They'd all be at the pool or something, golfing. And I'm like, man, fuck, I'm stuck at work till 5. You know what I mean? I got 5-6 cars I'm delivering. So I just started to think to myself, like, man, you need a better work-life balance. And this was a way where I could still make great money, not work for anybody, work for yourself, and have a lot of time to do it. So I got really good at hiring people, developing top-level talent, and training them on how to be successful, right? And then I didn't have to sell. I sold for about a year just so I could get some clout, won a bunch of awards. But after that year, I trained so many people, hired so many people, developed so many people that my role now was just a mentor, a leader, keeping people in check, accountability, things like that, finding top talent, again, creating more teams, more offices. And it's just been really good to me. And with life insurance, you get something called residual income off of every sale that you make. So I was able to buy my dream house 2 Julys ago that my residuals pay for the mortgage. And you're talking a big mortgage. So I don't have to worry about really any bills. Every month I wake up and I know my bills are paid for every month because of the residual income I have coming in off the past 7 years of my life. And you can't do that with cars. You buy somebody a car, you gotta sell them another car again to
Yeah.
make money, right? So it's just a whole different industry, a whole different level.
The residual becomes hoping they come back,
Right.
but then you have to do it all
Yeah.
again. That same
It's
process.
like real estate, selling real estate. Like you get a nice commission, but if you want to keep continuing to make money in real estate, you gotta keep fucking selling houses.
Yeah, it becomes a time in equals money out
Yep.
kind of thing, and
Yep.
so I can get it. So you're making all the money, and now you get approached for Project One, which was kind of like,
Great timing.
I need creatine.
Yep. It was great timing. Me and Pat actually had a brand called American Warrior while I was fighting. And it was protein, it was a fat burner, test boost, and BCAs.
Did you guys have a physical location?
It was actually here in this building.
Was it?
Yep.
Because I was doing like some research about you and stuff. And
Yeah.
I thought I saw something like
Yeah.
that, but
So Pat had American Made Nutrition, which was in this building. This is why this building is so kind of like special to me. I saw it come up for rent. I actually tried to buy the whole building, but the guy doesn't want to sell it. He just bought it like 2 years ago. So I was like, Pat, guess what's coming up for rent? I was like, the Pro Source building. He was like, no fucking way. I said, yeah.
it's come full circle.
I was like,
almost.
I'm going to get it. He was like, go talk to the realtor, see what you can do. So I talked him down on the rent. We're actually paying the same amount of rent that we were paying like 10 years ago. So
It's all about how
yeah,
you,
like
it's
this
what talk-
office right here, like I've been in this office before it was Project
Was
1.
this your office before?
No, this was my buddy Mike's office, this one here. So, but it's just like, it's nostalgic for me.
Please tell me you
know what I mean?
texted him like, look
He
at
knows.
this, mother.
He knows. But yeah, like that's the cool thing about this building. So it's sentimental to us as well, and it's just fun. You know what I mean? So
Do you believe in everything happens for a reason, or is that like cliche?
I do, man. I believe in doing the right thing, not just some of the time, but all the time, because I believe it comes back full force.
I'm sitting here thinking about your story, and it's like it's very unfortunate what happened with your family and your daughter. But obviously being in the forefront of it now and it's behind you, seeing everything that's come from that difficulty.
Yeah.
You got into fighting for the wrong reasons.
Yep.
You made it into a positive. That got you sponsorships and built a network, and that got you into, you were down, but then it got you into the card industry, which then got you into the insurance industry, which then got you into, Project1. It's crazy to think about when you're ahead of it.
Yeah.
When you're living in it, it's tough to see what all can come from it. And that's what when I get a lot of messages now because of the podcast and stuff. It's like, hey, bro, like this is what I'm going through. Like, what should I do? And I'm just like, it's like change your mindset first. It's the first thing. You can't see the ending, but try to envision that ending, where you want that ending to be, and act accordingly.
Absolutely.
And just do what you can, and obviously I'm a man of faith myself, so I try to, talk to people about that, and it's like, hey, everything happens for a reason. I know it sucks to hear that.
It does.
But there's a plan way better than and way bigger than what we can do for ourselves, and it's just trusting the process and doing what needs to be done, doing good, and it'll come full effect. It'll come full circle.
Yep.
Is that something you ever thought about during that time, or now that you're older and you're ahead of it, you can
now
go
that
back?
I'm older, now that I've been through some shit, I can look back and say I'm glad that I did it this way. I'm fortunate enough to lead a lot of young people, right? And I was never a perfect person, never by far, and I'm still not perfect. I still have many flaws. But when I'm mentoring and leading younger people, the first thing I teach them is when you're in a leadership role, when you're responsible for other people, you put yourself last always. Like the leader always eats last. And that's something that I preach to these guys. Not only never burn a bridge, but put yourself last. When you make a leadership decision, make that decision where you put yourself last and put them first, the people you're making the decision for. And I guarantee you, it's going to come around full circle. And karma is a real thing. It is. If you do dumb shit and if you're just a bad person, it's going to catch up to you. But if you do good things for people, it's all going to come back. And I'm just one of those people that believe that if you just do good things, then God will reward you for doing good things. And another thing, when every successful person that I know, every person that makes a lot of money, they all give back in some way. They're not greedy. They're not afraid to devote their time into helping other people. So the more money you make, it's important to help, to give back, because if God can trust you with this, he'll give you this, right? If it's just the way it goes, you know what I mean? So you have to be one of those people where you have to be I'm super humble always. I may come off as cocky or arrogant sometimes, but it's just me being confident in myself. I'm really
confuse someone's confidence with, like, if you've been through hell and made it out to the end. I'm super
humble.
Like,
I'm gracious for where I'm at in life. I'm super grateful for everything that I have and everyone that is in my life that got me to this point. But I work my ass off. Anybody that knows me, and that if you ask someone about Gregg Rudolph, like what's one thing about him that you know for certain, no one will ever question my work ethic. They will tell you that is one of the hardest fucking working people I've ever in my life. And I do, man. Like, you'll never be able to question my work ethic or my integrity, because I don't do people dirty, and I just work. I know where I want to be in life. I know where I want to end up. And I see a vision for myself. I see a vision for this company, and I'm going to take us there no matter what I got to do. So I'm zoned in, baby.
Hey,
I'm ready to go.
One thing I appreciated, I obviously saw you guys on social media, and I have a history relationship with Jack and a lot of the people you employ here. We've been cool. We were cool back in the day. We still are. And he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, you want your date?" He said some shit like debut or whatever. I'm like, "This motherfucker!" Like,
we were working you that day.
Like I ain't been in this industry before. But I was like, "All right, cool. I'll do a video shoot." Bro, I came, and I'm thinking, he's like, "Yo, grab us something, whatever." I'm like, "All right, we're gonna stage some things." And fucking put us through an actual workout. Like, and I had worked out that morning. So I'm like, I'm having a little pump going, you know. Which I made the mistake. He should have told me. He made the mistake.
Yeah.
He should have told me,
Yeah.
you about to work out here. Dude,
I didn't know what it was going to entail. So I just showed up like, what are we doing?
Oh, and that's the thing I respect. It's like, you actually showed up. You participated in a lot of the things. Like, you're in the mix.
Yeah.
You know, and it's one thing. You talk about leadership and a leader. A lot of people confuse the person in charge or the person on top as being a leader.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between boss and leader. And we did beat the girls, in my opinion, and then you had to jump in. But
I had to save them.
Yeah,
I'm a gentleman.
You're in the mix. You get in the mix. You know, your hands are dirty. You're getting in there.
Forget about them 104 push-ups.
Bro, if I didn't work chest that day, I'd have gave you a run for your money. We're gonna run that back. This dude pulled 104 push-ups.
I haven't done that since my
like
20s, man.
It was like 2.5 minutes or something crazy.
I repped them out to about 80 something, and I started then I started having to stop.
Dude, I got to like 60. I'm like, I shouldn't have worked chest.
It's tough.
Today.
It's tough to do.
It's something if you've built it, if you've always done that.
We're not exactly 130 pounders either. So we got a lot of
Yeah. how much? What do you weigh? What do you?
200, 195.
See, that blows my mind. I look at you. I'm like, dude's fucking huge.
I'm short.
I'm 230.
Yeah, I'm short.
You know, and I'm like, Short kings,
I don't
bro.
pack
It's all
a
about
lot
the
of
short
legs.
kings.
I never packed a lot of weight on my legs. I could put a lot more weight on my legs because I was always running, training. I could never keep it on.
well, it's your proportion nice.
Yeah.
Like you look, I'm like, dude's huge, and you weigh 200 pounds. Nothing against
Yeah.
you, but I'm like, I'm fucking 230. Like, what am I? Do I look
Fluctuate
like that?
between like 192 and 200. I don't really get above 200.
What's like your goal weight? Like, what's something that
I don't
is it
care.
where you're at now?
Yeah, as long as I look good, I don't care.
Well, you said you're 41.
Yeah.
You blow most people out of the
Yeah,
water. So
I just want to have abs and I want to be vascular and
must be
look
the
good.
Project one,
Right?
But you guys been doing a lot. That's what I want. I definitely
man.
want to hit on that. You guys, partnered with Kurt Angle,
Yep.
which I know he's a kind of like a local guy. But
Mm-hmm.
how did that partnership come across?
So I met Kurt, I want to say about 5 years ago. My lawyer introduced me to Kurt. We all went out to dinner, and at the time I was selling amniotic fluid, exosomes for health. You know what I mean? For like fixing injuries, like stem cells.
You ain't okay. You ain't gonna pass over that. I need.
Right.
What the fuck is that?
So Kurt had a really bad neck. He couldn't open his fingers on his one hand, and he couldn't extend his arms past like this. So I was flying to South Florida and working with a guy with the stem cells. This was like a side hustle for me, and I told him I had Kurt Angle that I wanted to help fix. So we flew Kurt down there. I picked him up at the airport. That's an interesting thing, going through an airport with Kurt Angle.
I
Everyone's
can't
like,
even
nicest
You're
guy
just
in
like,
the
I'm
world.
trying
Though.
to
He
get-
can't say no to nobody.
Well,
Nicest guy in the world.
How long was that airport walk?
Oh, fuck. And he, at the time, man, he was hurt. He could barely walk. Like, he was really rough. But since then, he's had a knee replacements, hips. I mean, more neck surgeries. But he's doing great now, killing it. But after like 2 days, he could fully extend his arm, and he could open every finger, and he had feeling in his hand. He didn't.
Now,
have
is that
feeling in
is
his
that injected or is it a process of like?
It's with like little insulin
I've heard-
syringes.
that's crazy.
And then he had like whatever you call it. It's like, these crazy machines that stimulate.
They
your-
pump. Yeah, I've heard of that.
So we were able to fix them, and then we just kind of became tight after that. And one of my mentors lives in Boca. He's the only billionaire I know. He's a billionaire. Lives in a $65 million house on the beach. And we're in this. We're
chump
just in
change.
this. Oh, dude, he's an impressive human being. He's 62 years old. He's a 3rd-degree black belt and trains with the best of the best in South Florida every day at his house. Like,
Still trains.
dude's a legend. He's very dangerous, but very, very seasoned in business. He's just, at this point in his life, he just buys businesses, fixes them up, and sells them. Like, he's just an animal. Buys shopping plazas, whatever he wants.
That's sweet though. Like,
He's
you got all this money.
so impressive.
They say money. I want to mention this earlier. Money talks, right? Everyone talks
Yeah.
about money. Money is the root of all evil. They're saying it's like I have a different view of money. Like, I believe money talks.
Mm-hmm.
I believe money shows you or tells you who you are as a person and how you spend it, what
Yeah.
you do with it.
Yep.
You know, and it only amplifies who you are.
You took the words out of my mouth, man.
I mentioned this
If
in
you're
another.
an asshole before you get money, if you're an asshole when you're broke, you're a bigger asshole when you got a ton of money.
I agree with that.
You know, if you're a good person when you're broke, and you're a better person when you have money. But at the same time, like I've seen people that it goes to their head. You know what I mean? And they
But that's
ego.
something. Yeah,
you have
that's
to have an
something.
ego.
And if you're not humbled in the process of gaining that money,
Yeah.
it's gonna eventually root out who you are and what you do. You know.
I think that's why you see a lot of these people put people like in the NFL on a pedestal, and they expect them to be the best human beings just because they got a $200 million contract, right? But this motherfucker grew up poverty. He didn't have shoes. You don't know their story. Most of those guys, they didn't grow up with anything. So now, what do you think they're going to be like when they got $200 million in the
Overnight.
bank?
Well, it's the
Right?
thing.
Like,
Overnight. It's
they
not
don't
the
have anybody
process.
telling them how to act either. Most of them didn't even have a father figure. So, like, what do you expect from these people? But that's a perfect example. I'm like, yeah, they're not going to be the best human beings. Some of them want to give back and do give back. You know what I mean? There's a ton of people in the NFL that give back to the community and do all types of things that they wanted to do. But I think they're more of an exception, you know, but that's the perfect analogy there. You know, money definitely changes who you are.
Especially if you get at money through the long route, like you started with nothing, you experience quote unquote failure after failure, but you continue to push, you continue to be relentless, you continue to persevere, you continue to fight, and you know, if you do things the right way for long enough, money will come. Yeah, and I think that's the process.
It's just a byproduct of hard work.
That's exactly what it is. And you said, if God can trust you with this, He's going to give you this.
more.
It's the same with a company. You know, if you have someone under you, you have an employee, and you've given them X, Y, Z, and they've taken that, and they didn't just complete X, Y, Z.
Right.
They went above and beyond. They're owning it. They're like absorbing themselves with it. You're like, holy fuck! Like they deserve so much more because they've shown me what they can do. They didn't just do what I asked, but I didn't have to ask them to go above and beyond. They did it on their own. So you start putting more responsibility on them to see. And you mentioned mentorship, and you like to be a mentor. One part of being a mentor or someone that people entrust for advice is you kind of put people through tests so they can discover what they're, because if you just told them, hey, I know you're capable of this here, they don't really learn a lot about themselves, but you put them in positions to kind of learn and grow, and you provide that space for that growing environment.
Absolutely.
It's the same with money. If you have that incubator and you're learning about yourself, you're growing, you're realizing the last time I spent this money, because I've had money, didn't come from the right way. Well, I don't got that money anymore.
Right.
You know, and it's the money I've earned, the money I've had to work for. I hold on to it a little more because it required a lot more sacrifice.
You appreciate it a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're talking about this billionaire and this stuff, and in Florida. How did Kurt Angle fit into this mix of? Because now you're building something. Project 1 is growing.
Yeah.
You're bringing names in.
Yeah. So we were so young, and I was like, we need a face to the company. We made some traction right off the bat with GNC, and they noticed us. We had a demo on a Saturday at the Oxford Club in Wexford, and at the time, one of the high up individuals that works there noticed us there, came to the table, started sampling our products, and it was all over from there. The next week, we were on a Zoom call. They knew we were in their backyard. We're a Pittsburgh-based company. The headquarters of GNC is in Pittsburgh. So, we had a Zoom meeting, and we ended up signing a contract probably about a month later. And I wanted to come out with a bang. It's like, hey, man, we just signed with GNC. That's like it's a big accomplishment.
Huge deal, yeah.
I was like, let's get a face to the brand. And I was like trying to think of people who I have a personal relationship with, and I was like, man, I'm gonna pitch this to Kurt. So got Kurt on a Zoom call with me, Pat, Zach, and just told him what I envisioned. I was like, let's do a protein. Your big thing in wrestling was milk and cookies and shit. Let's do a cookies and cream Kurt Angle protein.
That's crazy. I used to watch him. His story too is crazy. Wrestle with a broken neck.
He's
it's wild.
Talk about work ethic. psycho work ethic, just unstoppable. When he puts his mind to something, I mean, that's just like an incredible human being. And and him being from Mount Lebo, from Pittsburgh, he's in his 50s, so he's older than me. So it's another like, man, I look up to this dude, you know what I mean? So became friends with him, and now I got to offer him to be part of the company. So it's super, super humbling and awesome. And, I'm very, very happy that he's involved, because it really, on an international level, put us on the map. Like, oh, wow, they got Kurt Angle. How'd they do that? They probably had to pay a ton of money for him. They're it elevates the company, right? Meanwhile, they don't know that he's one of my friends and he's doing this as a favor, pretty much.
I wouldn't even say a favor, because he wouldn't put his name on something.
No, but he believed in the product.
Yeah,
he loves it. It's something that he takes, and we're probably going to add more things down the road with him, I'm hoping. And but it's doing well.
Definitely a joint health.
Yeah,
That'd be dope. He had a lot of issues with that. You can have him sample the products.
but we didn't just stop at him. We just signed Casey Mitchell. He's out of Bakersfield, California. He was in the Army, and
I saw that.
got
Big in the
hit with an
fitness.
IED, blew his leg off, one arm. He was in surgeries for like 4 years. Couldn't walk, couldn't do anything. Got addicted to painkillers just to try to make it through. I mean, dude was down and out. And Casey is an impressive individual. He's a big guy, mohawk, big beard. You can't miss him. He's got a presence about him. But Casey made a change in his life. He, for his daughter, for his wife, and he was like, I have to get through this. And he got better and got clean and started powerlifting. That was his way out. That was his fighting. He also did some MMA fighting too. So me and him are very alike. So we get along. But he went on to be a world record holder as an amputee for powerlifting, and got very notarized in that industry. Been in workout videos with like C.T. Fletcher and Andy Frisella. He knows him, and he's very well known. So again, I approached him. He had a badass pre-workout called Overkill with his former company. Kind of went under during COVID. He got screwed over pretty good, but he wanted just to become an affiliate and be an athlete for us and just get involved, because he saw Project 1 out there. He's like, man, it looks like a brand I can get behind. And I said, I don't want you to really get behind it. I want you to be a part of it. I want to do a product line for you. What do you think about that? I want you to be like a partner. I want you to have your own line called That One-Legged Monster, Overkill. Let's bring Overkill back. And the dude just was like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I'm serious. I was like, I want to put people in a position to win in life. I was like, I can get you to rep the brand and have a coupon code, but that's great. It's great for me, but it's like, what are you going to get out of it? You might make $1,000 here, $500. I was like, dude, why don't you just partner up and let's bring your brand back that people loved.
Dude, that's insane.
This dude was doing over $1 million selling pre-workout.
Think of the metaphor there, right?
Yeah.
He was down and out, overkill, done.
Yeah.
And now it's back up, kind of like
Yep.
the story of his life. He was,
Yep.
It's coming back with you. You were down and out.
I love helping people. I really do. Now, granted, yeah, we will make money with it, but I'm in a way helping this dude change his life and get his life back on track. He is so excited. I don't know if you've been following him, man, but he posts every day.
Since you guys partnered,
we talk 5-6 times a day, no matter what, text, talk, call, whatever. But this dude is fired up, and we already have 3 products that we're going to drop for him. One is going to drop Memorial Day, the Overkill. So that everybody knows about that. I can
Please
talk
tell
about
me that's
it.
high stem.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
it's very high stem. It's
all about
hardcore, but not like over the top. It's gonna hit hard. Then we're bringing. I can't talk too much about it, but we're bringing another product to his back that people it would sell out in like 2 days. People really love it.
I'm sure if they follow him, they probably have an idea.
They already
of what
probably
it is.
know, but we got it's going to do really, really, really well. And then we just announced Anna Capozuli today. That is a vegan protein. She is an online coach in Florida, South Florida. She is 100% vegan. She was a bodybuilder, kind of destroyed her body doing it, her hormones, her gut health, became very holistic and a vegan. Now she's an expert on health and fitness, has a ton of clients that she helps help mentor and coach through fitness and eating, all that stuff, diets, has her own vegan cookbooks. So she's got her vegan line coming out. That'll be April 15th. I think we launched that one. And then the biggest one of all, and I can talk about it today because we're launching it in 2 weeks from today, which will be April 2nd, is Martha Stewart. So
What?
yeah, it's this one is really gonna shock the world, I think, man. It's so Pat worked with some collaborations before. He worked with a lady, Christine. She's awesome. She's just a beast. She gets in front of people. And she kind of like brokered the deal. So we told her we want to start getting some collaborations in with some big names. So they pitched us all these names, and Martha Stewart was one of them. So me and Pat were like, let's go drive up to New York City and do a presentation for Marquee Brands, who is the brand that owns Martha Stewart's name. And so we got Tiago involved, Zach involved, and we got this presentation for reds, greens, and collagen with Martha's logo on it. It was teal blue, like Tiffany blue. It was badass. We didn't,
But not Tiffany blue.
but not Tiffany blue. We changed the renderings and the concept so far. It's a whole different thing now. But we did this beautiful presentation. Me and Pat drove up there, 5-hour drive, walked into the building, shook their hands, and sealed the deal. They loved it. And
Dude,
that
that's
was
fire.
Yeah, 9 months later, here we are. It took us 9 months to develop this product. Martha Stewart is highly involved in it, so it took a lot longer to come to the production line than we wanted. We were supposed to actually launch this product 2 months ago, so we're 2 months behind, just because that's how picky she is.
You're right on track.
Like, yeah,
You're right on track.
her actual greens that we're doing, it's every recipe she does in a cold pressed juicer every morning. That's her signature recipe. So it tastes just like it, looks just like it, the texture, the color, everything. So we actually me and Pat had to fly out to California with her team and sit there all day until this thing was mastered in the lab with the scientists. So, because we were like, guys, we're out of time. We have to get this thing done. And because it's a royalty deal, we're paying royalties on this. We don't even have a product. So we flew out there, knocked this thing out, and April 2nd, we launched this sucker, and it's everywhere. I mean, it's going to be the press release. I mean, it's going to be in like 50, 60 magazines all over her social media. This thing's going to be everywhere.
That's exciting, and it's cool that you're bringing them in on the process.
Yeah.
Like Kurt, you're bringing them in.
Yeah.
Everyone, you're bringing them into this process when it's their line, and they have like they have a stake in that. It's their name.
They have ownership in it.
Yeah, it's ownership. Perfect.
Everything I've always been involved in, I've been incentivized in some way, and I carried that with me through the rest of my life. Like, I could have an affiliate. They don't have any ownership. They don't really care. You know what I mean? But if they have some sort of buy-in, some sort of ownership, they'll work a lot harder because it's more. It means more.
It's not. Yeah, and it's not a handout.
No,
It's
You're
doing
still
our
working
part.
for it.
Yeah, we're doing our part.
Yep.
We need you to do your part
Yep.
for this to be successful on all ends.
Yeah. I would rather have a partner than an employee any day, or an affiliate.
It's empowering.
I want to bring people along for the ride, no matter what I'm doing in life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. I don't need all of this. I just want to live a way where my family's taken care of, but I also want. There's like the saying, if you're lonely at the top, you're doing something wrong, right? Like, I want to bring everybody along for the ride. You know what I mean? Like, there's not one selfish bone in my body at this point in my life. I want to help other people. I want people to be happy with me.
The more I do this, the more, and I've always been that way. And people who don't understand me, who don't understand it, always look at me like, why are you doing that? Like, what are you getting out of it? And it's like, it's not about what I'm getting out of it. It's about, what I'm getting out of it? Joy.
Yeah.
Joy, relationships, network. You can't put a dollar on the people you know.
You really can't, man.
You can't. and I've noticed a lot of and the reason I started this podcast was because a lot of the people I've been blessed with who've surrounded me,
Yeah.
I needed growing up.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have that growing up.
Yep.
And if I would have had that, my life would be completely different. Not that I would change my life in any way, because I feel the trajectory I'm on is good. It's moving, and a lot of the lessons I learned through trial and error, it's who I am today.
Yep.
And you can't pay money for that. You can't just be that person without the trials I've been through. And I've noticed that a lot of the people in your position have the same mindset of empowering others and bringing others in, but allowing them that room for growth.
Yeah.
Which, you can give someone $1 million and they can blow it, or they can invest it, but at the end of the day, that $1 million is gone.
Yeah.
Or you can help someone, you can teach someone how to make that.
Yep.
And then they have, what's the saying?
Teach a man to fish.
You can teach a man to fish, or you can give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. You can teach him to fish, he'll eat forever.
Yep.
It's that mentality, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I've also seen that with, like, not the Martha Stewarts or the Kurt Angles, but the people you have representing your brand every day who are local.
Yeah.
They're out, they're doing things, they're furthering their careers, and they're bringing Project One into it.
That's why we created the squad. The squad is not just an affiliate program for us to get more sales. The squad is to create a community of people that are like-minded, that all have goals in life, that we can all help each other accomplish those goals. You know what I mean? So, like, people in the squad, if they have an event, if they have something they're shooting for, we're helping them do it. We're giving them shout outs. We're encouraging them. We're empowering them. That's what the squad is all about. The squad is about empowering people, bringing the best versions of yourself out. Sometimes it's very hard to do that if you're by yourself, or if you're around other people with the same caliber of goals as yourself. But when you elevate yourself around people that can think bigger, you're also going to think bigger, because you're going to get challenged. You're going to get, I like to give people goals, bigger dreams, bigger visions. Like, think bigger. You know what I mean? You want to do this? How about if you do this? Like, set yourself a goal. And that's what the squad is all about. The squad is about just a community of people that are all like-minded, that just want to accomplish some shit. And I love it, and they're all good people.
If you're the smartest person in the room, you need a better
gotta be in a different room, right?
And a lot of the places I go, I'm usually the strongest, the biggest, and the people are like, oh man, like, how do you do this every day? How do you do this? Because I do real estate. I have the podcast. I have my job. I dabble, but I'm always looking for more. And back to this video shoot, I'm going to a video shoot, which I've done 100 times for brands across the room. Nothing against other brands, but you go, you stage some shots, you stage some things, and it's like, all right, cool, you get out. It was like, all right,
real people
work
doing
out.
real things.
Yeah. And this podcast, it's real stories, real people, real fucking life. And I
love it.
It's sweet, because I was at this video shoot and they're like, go work out. I'm like, shit, okay.
I already worked out this morning.
I already worked out, but I could have said I already worked out. I can bullshit but I'm like, no, like, I fucking
we
put
got
on
some good footage of you too.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah. The one I was talking shit.
You were
I was talking shit,
all
but
sweaty.
But it's all love. I'm like, I thought I was gonna come here, get a fucking shaker cup, and no, I got a fucking workout. And then it's not even that workout. Then we have other workouts and group workouts, and you had us doing yoga and all this crazy shit. I'm
you
like,
guys were doing sprints.
I'm like, damn, dude.
Start doing Oklahomas or something here soon. I might have to leave.
But I'm gonna be honest, from the outside in, because I had a supplement company. It was called Valor Labs.
Nice.
We tanked during COVID. We were small. We reached out to GNC. I understand that process is fucking brutal.
It is.
So the fact that you guys were able to leap like that tells me a lot about the company. And outside looking in, I'm like, who's this fucking company just coming in and taking over like that? I'll admit, I was that guy where I'm like, who the fuck are these guys? And I did the video shoot to be like, I want to learn more.
Yeah, right.
I want to learn more about
Absolutely.
these dudes, what they're about. You come up to me, fucking cool as hell. I'm like, all right, cool, dope. I'm like, I'd like to talk to you. Trying to be on the podcast. So here's my fucking number. I'm like,
just normal people, man.
Well, and
that's all.
And you see that. That it's normal people, and then everyone there. What I liked about everyone there, they're like, hey, take our Instagram. Here's
Yeah.
my Instagram. Everyone shared, connected.
Yeah.
Now I'm involved in this network that's like, wow, these are cool people doing cool things. Everyone has their own fitness goals, and it's funny because everyone sees fitness as like strong.
Right.
There's so many elements of
So
fitness,
many.
and everyone
So
there
many.
had a different element that they brought. And I'm like, wow, this is dope. This community that you're building, the squad.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool.
It's a good name too. I like it.
Yeah, fucking Project1 Squad.
It works.
Squad.
Squad it up, baby.
I
I
like
like it. I like it.
it. What is one of the biggest challenges you've seen with Project1? What's something that, and how were you able to pass that?
Oh man.
If you could just think of one that you were like, fuck, this is tough. We got to really double down on this.
Yeah. Shit. I mean, it's just like any new business. I mean, there's obviously the financial struggles, right? You want to grow so fast. That's every entrepreneur's goal, is to grow fast. And I feel like if you're making money, in your first 2 years, you're really doing something right.
You're not supposed to go green for at least, what they say, like 4 or 5 years.
Sometime. I mean, if you follow Andy Frizella was living on a mattress in the back of one of his stores for 10 years. You know what I mean? So he's one of the GOATs, the greatest that have ever done it. And, that's someone who was sleeping on a mattress in a store for 10 years. So to be in a position 2 years, 2.5 years where you're starting to put money back in your pocket is it's a great feeling. We're not exactly there yet. Me and Pat have completely funded this company. We're paying everybody except for ourselves.
And that's all. I don't want to say that's awesome, but that's good for people to see, because that perception on social media is, you guys are huge, you guys are big, you're doing big things. All true.
We will be.
However, the grind behind it.
We're in the process right now.
And
we're in the suck of it. We're in the mud. You know what I mean? And
feel like,
we're working very hard, and we're not only working for free, but
you're paying to work.
we're paying the way but we're giving opportunity to these guys, and we're giving them something special. And everybody in this building, man, right now they're underpaid, and they know they are, but they're loyal as shit, and they know when we get caught up and when everything is full force that they're going to be taken care of. I have, without a doubt, the best partners and the best employees that you could ever fucking imagine. These people are so loyal and so dedicated to this, where, again, it's like they're just not employees. They have a piece. Like, if we would ever sell this company, which we're not looking to do, we're looking to build this to be a brand, a lifestyle brand for a very, very long time. But if, God forbid, if somebody offered us a shit ton of money next year to buy us out, and we could all live the rest of our lives on an island somewhere, like, not saying that's going to happen, but every employee here would be paid like an owner on the way out. Like, that's how much these people mean to us, and they know that that's how we think of them. So, like, we're right on the verge of dropping 3 crazy collaborations that are going to change the outcome of, the financial trajectory of this company. And fuck, it feels good, dude. It's been
I can't imagine,
two
yeah.
years of hustling. I mean, and I'm bouncing around from this office to this office, and I love what we do here.
Jumping on little
I love it,
podcasts
dude.
and
I
shit.
just love what we do. I love this industry. There's a lot of fake bullshit in this industry, and I love being real in this industry. And I love being one of the few real motherfuckers that just, there's no fakeness to it. And this industry needs it. Pat is another one. Pat has been in this industry for 25 years, and no one can ever say there's not a fake thing about him, man. He's been an owner. He's been a manufacturer. He's been a formulator. He's been a salesman. He's been a buyer. I mean, this guy knows everything about this. He's so well-rounded in this industry, and we're so lucky to have him as a CEO and a partner, and really just a freaking mentor. You know what I mean? Like, this dude is such an animal with this business that without him, man, we wouldn't be where we're at, obviously, but we work extremely well together, this whole core group.
Yeah, I like I said, I know a lot of the people who work for this company, work for you, and it always seemed like they were finding their place, right?
Yeah.
Taking on different projects, and they have a skill set, and they've applied it in different areas. And
Marketing department, these dudes
oh, dude, like
they blow me away.
Jack, man, Jack's a dude. I've told him this, but never really
So
in
much
depth. That dude is too talented for himself. He's
He
always
is
put himself
talented.
in a box,
Yeah.
and he's never been pushed. He's never been given like the rope to go.
Yep. He is night and day different from 15 months ago when I first
He
met
started
him,
working
16
out
months ago.
regularly.
I'm just talking about his skill set. Like his work 16, 17, 18 months ago compared to the work that he's doing now is just, it's completely different. It's like, okay, this one's, you could call it, I don't want to say it's amateur, but this one, you're like, holy shit, that's professional. That's some shit that you would see on a Super Bowl commercial. Like, did you see the test boost video?
Yep.
In the Bentley, like that thing?
That was him.
Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy.
These dudes are incredible at what they do. They just blow my mind.
And that's
Blow my mind.
And you mentioned this industry, and this industry is a tough industry to get into
It is.
overall.
So much competition.
You know, I've been there, I've done that, and you know, we didn't end up on the other side, which is cool because everything happened. I believe things happen for something you go through. You may not see why you went through it, but you learn so many things, and if you can apply what you learn, it's not really a failure. So that's why I never really. And one thing I appreciate about you is every other company you've talked Andy Frisella, you've talked about other, like you're not kind of like headbutting with them. You're like, hey, this is what we're doing, and we're going to continue doing what we're doing. And I have a strong belief we're going to end up on top. And you're not comparing yourself to these other companies. What you see in the fitness industry is companies will fucking bash other companies publicly and shit. And you're like, what are you doing? Because you guys can, there's room for everyone so long as you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Everyone tries to cut corners here.
They do.
I want to launch a product, a pre-workout. It's expensive to do. Well, there's cheap ingredients you can use. There's cheap manufacturing companies you can use. There's cheap label companies you can. And we see a lot of this shit come out.
A lot of these
and it's
guys
crap.
there's people in this industry that are going to jail.
Yeah.
That they're not putting what they're putting in the ingredients, and there's things that are illegal that they're doing just to make a few extra bucks. Like, it all comes down to integrity. Like, just do the right thing, And,
Although one thing that was made illegal that I fucking hate, DMAA.
yeah,
I
that
love,
shit works,
dude. I was like, when I was
know.
on that shit,
It works.
it's insane. And now
does.
it's like frowned upon.
I got to give you a bottle of this test booster. We got this natural test booster. It is insane. I've been on it for like 2 weeks, and it's I've been on TRT for probably about 6 years. I just do like 0.7 milligrams of cypionate a week, and my levels are right at 900, right where they should be for my age. So I'm optimal health, optimal energy,
Optimal performance.
sex drive, the whole
Let's
9
go with
yards.
performance. We'll go.
Yeah, we'll go.
In the honor
Be real.
of
You know what I
being
mean?
transparent.
Be real.
Yeah, be real.
There's nothing fake about me.
I appreciate that.
But it just gets me where I can perform at my highest levels, right?
You can do 106 push-ups.
Yep, exactly. So I started taking the natural testosterone booster with it, and I started to forget my weekly shot because my natural levels, which I had to go to get a prescription for from the urologist, were so low at one point. I don't know. I just really beat up my body in fight camps and training and just overworking myself. But plus, I'm also 40. It's not supposed to be that high anymore, But now I'm like, damn, this shit. I might actually just take this instead. Like, it's incredible. In the brain focus that
I'll
you
have
get
to
with
try
it.
that out.
I'll get you one freely.
Oh, shit.
It drops next week. It's available for purchase. So that's
Didn't
another
even
big one.
drop yet? I guess I got to do some videos on
We
it.
got like actual blood work studies with it with people in their 40s.
Which you don't see with test boosters on the market right now. They add the ingredients that everyone else adds,
Oh yeah.
but it's at different levels and stuff,
Yep.
and they don't even test it because you can have the same ingredients,
Oh, we have
not
like
sourced from the same
tons
way.
of patented ingredients. This thing, it's killer. It's killer.
I'm excited to try it. I'm excited to try it.
Yeah, I love it.
What are future goals for? I know you mentioned some good collabs and stuff. What's something you see where do you guys want to be? And I'm not talking about financially, but just with who you have under you, with projects no pun intended, projects in the next 5 years? Where do you see Project One going?
So I have always really wanted to do an energy drink. The market is so saturated with energy drinks. It's such a tough space to get into. I don't think that will ever happen, just because it's a hard space to get into. Not saying it might never happen, but that's a goal of mine that I'd love to get into. Just like a nice, clean energy drink, like a Jocko energy drink, something like that. Like his shit is high quality. It really is. Like they do such an amazing job with their formulations, and everything they have is just very clean and top quality. You know
I'd
what I
like
mean?
to see that. I'd like to see that because I tried your pre-workout.
It's just the marketing though. Like
Yeah.
Prime is dog shit. It's the worst product you can ever buy.
It's money and who you know.
it's-
That's why it's taken off.
Yeah.
So like the
That
stuff.
Celsius and Alani Nu have the market. You know what I mean? So it's tough.
Well, not to throw Celsius under the bus, but you know the claims that are happening now.
It's awful.
They have,
I don't even know why I'm drinking this. I just saw it out there. I was like, tropical vibe. I'm gonna try it.
but that's the thing. They've put themselves in a place where that's a can you grab.
Yeah.
You have 100 one. That's the can
Yeah.
you grab. But I think with the momentum you guys have going, I think I see that.
It
Very
could be.
possible.
One thing with energy drinks is you need a big place to store them, because when you get flavors, you have to get like a tractor trailer of each flavor. It's a big process. It's expensive to do. It's 200 grand to get into just to do, a full run 3-4 flavors. It's expensive. But one thing that you may see that me and Pat really want to do is functional foods. So I love donuts. I'll just tear up a whole box of donuts. I don't care. I love them.
Love me some.
I want to
donuts.
do a protein donut in the worst way. That's what I really want to do.
Was that something you'd offer in house, or is that something you'd try to like?
That's something that we would put in stores that we could have on our website, but mainly it'd be for, retailers to put in their stores, like a GNC type of thing, grocery stores, Dick's, things like that.
Dick's just launched their the cleat house or
What is
at
it?
the mall. It's like they just put it in the Ross Park Mall. It's that I don't know if you've been up there. It's this huge corner front, big cage, the House of
Check it out.
Cleats.
House of Cleats. I'm going to check it out.
And it's in my mind, I'm like, how? Like, it's a huge Dick's store for cleats. That's what I don't understand. I haven't been in there yet, but they have this turf field outside, huge.
Really?
It's insane. If you're get a chance, stop by the Ross Park Mall. I think they're open now.
Huh.
It's called the House of Cleats. Huge store.
It's outside?
So the store is inside, but they have this huge facility outside of like turf, big fences,
You probably
lights.
try stuff on and use
But
it.
I'm like, you're gonna spend this much money on turf or check out cleats? So they're doing something in there that I'm yet to understand. I gotta go in there and check it out. And that's
Must
I
have a
like
big
I like
backing by someone or something.
I like the behind the scenes stuff. Like
Yeah.
that's why I was so excited to get into here because I see what you guys are doing out there, but now I see what you guys are doing in here, and it's sweet. I think you guys are on a trajectory, the right trajectory.
The donuts, and I'd love to do an RTD protein.
See, that's something. And you know what, Mark, you can get into? Cops.
Yeah.
Protein
Absolutely.
donut. A lot of cops now are getting into the fitness space, and they love donuts.
Yep.
You can merge those two, or military too. Military's huge on these
Absolutely.
damn drinks. All the guys I know,
Oh
they'll
my
grab a
God.
can and go.
I
Like
know.
that's the thing. Everyone went away from single serving, but now everyone lives this fast paced life.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to carry one of these things around. Now you got to like carry a bottle, put that in, find water, just grab a can and go.
These things is like you got to find somebody super influential that has a huge following, that's good at marketing, and put their name on it. You know what I mean? Like the Paul brothers, they're so corny, but they're just,
Who do you got for
oh, dude,
the Tyson
man,
fight?
fuck.
I think he's paid, bro.
I know,
I think he's
so I know someone that fought him that got paid.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a fucking joke, honestly. It's pathetic, but I mean, Mike Tyson. If Mike Tyson wanted to kill you, he could kill you.
he's how old is he now? He's
50,
pushing 60s.
57.
And he still moves
But
better than most
yeah,
people.
I mean, I get it. It's a money grab, but I think at the same time you need to stay true to the sport that you've been an animal at your entire life. Like you're a legend, and you're gonna go fight this clown.
Kind of waters down the sport.
It does.
It's a double-edged
pathetic.
sword. They've
It's
brought
like-
a lot of attention to boxing,
Yeah,
but not the best attention.
Yeah, like come on, dude. He's an average amateur at best. You know, I could go to the local amateur boxing gym that my buddy owns and pick out 3 people that have 15 amateur fights that would beat the shit out of him.
My buddy,
Come on.
Devin Siegfried, won Golden Gloves multiple times. Now he's pro, 4-0, 4 knockouts.
Yeah, why don't you fight someone like that?
I'm like trying to get. He don't know this, but I've been reaching out to them. I'm like, hey, I got a dude for you to fight. Got a dude for you to fight. But he will never fight someone like that. This kid's hungry. This kid at the gym 3, 4, 5 times a day, runs 6 miles a day every day. Like, fight someone who's about that life right now. Like Tyson, that's his past. He still dabbles, but like he's doing 100 other things. Yeah. And I think that's what he's doing. He's picking all these like big names that were big names to try and like, oh, I went through him. It's like, but at his prime, you'd be dead. No pun intended.
Oh my God.
You want to talk about prime?
Yeah.
Fight these fighters in their prime.
Right? Exactly.
But what are some daily habits you do that kind of keep you focused in line? Because you do a lot of things. You're managing this sales team. You're managing this. You're managing your family, your personal life. You obviously work out. Like, what are some habits that you do daily that kind of keep you grounded and keep you kind of in line?
Daily habits, man. Obviously, health. You know, I like to eat clean as much as I can. I like to eat whatever I want to. Don't get me wrong. Like, I eat a ton of crap, but I like to, eat clean for the most part. Work out every day. I really don't take days off of working out. It's just something that it's part of my daily routine, I guess you could say. I always find something to be thankful for every day, just to remind myself. Tell my kids I love them every day. That's something that no matter what, I just show up every day, man. I really don't take days off at all. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people in my position, they get up early, 4:30, 5. I don't know if they're actually doing it or not, or if they're just putting it out there for people to see on their Instagram or whatever, you know what I mean? But I don't really work out in the morning. Just never could. And people in my position, everyone says, everyone will say the same thing in my position. Read a lot of books. Work out really early in the morning. Get it out of the way. Focus on yourself. Spend an hour to develop yourself, mind, body, spirit. That's something that I do. I do read. I do pour into myself daily. Your brain is a muscle too, so you do have to develop your brain. Especially when you're leading people, you do have to, think outside of the box, and you can't know everything. So you do have to read and, find more information that you can pass on. So that's something that I do every day. But really just pouring into myself. I'm trying to find a way to stay balanced is always difficult, I think, for anybody that juggles multiple things. But patience is something I try to practice now that I've never been good at. But really, I'm just in tune with everything that I do. I just, family, my wife, my kids are my main thing. Telling them that I love them every day, being a good dad, being a good husband, being a good person, being a good friend, a brother, son. But just, I like being in this industry because it kind of forces me to still do the things that I love. Like owning a supplement company, you'd think that you should look a certain way. So I kind of take that personally. Like, I don't want to look a certain way.
There's
I don't
an
want to be a
expectation.
fat slob,
Yeah,
right? Like,
there's an expectation.
If I'm preaching health and wellness, I'm not going to be 300 pounds and fat and sloppy, and you know what I mean? Like, I'm here to inspire people. So I love to stay fit. I love to stay in shape. And, those are just things I practice every day. Read, find a way to be humble, give thanks, and just think about things you're thankful for. Try to find, this is something that I've done in the past couple of years. I try to find the best out of every situation. Like, if something fucked up happens, I think to myself, all right, what's something good that came from it, right? Like what did you learn from it? What could you do better next time? How could you avoid it? What came from it that is a positive? So that's something that I try to do every day, because when you got things going on and you have this that you're responsible for every day, something's going to go wrong. Something's going to go wrong every day.
Or not the way you expect it to.
Right? Like it's nothing ever works out the way it does. So you have to just take it as it comes and just roll with
the
it.
punches.
You know, roll with the punches. And it's perfect. You know, it's just something that I preach every day. It's working for me.
Well, and that's the thing. And that's why I like these conversations with people, because you get to see the kind of like the behind the scenes of people's lives and things they've been through. And like you said, all these people wake up early. Not everyone does that.
No,
but
just be yourself. Do what works for you.
Yeah. Like I personally work out at 4:30.
Yeah.
And I got asked today, the guy who runs 247 actually, he's like, hey, like, how do I get up at that time? And then like, how do I make that a routine? Is that something you actually do, or is it just something? Because if you don't, it's cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's something I actually do. I set an alarm, and that alarm is my promise to myself. Mm-hmm. Like I will not break the first promise to myself for the day.
That's good.
You know, and sometimes, and I told him, like, sometimes I wake up and I have a mirror right by my bed. I'll sit on the edge of the bed and I'll contemplate going back to bed. Like, I'm not one who's like, oh, fuck it, I'm up. And like, I'm not Jocko. I'm not David, David Goggins.
We're
like,
not trying to be either.
We're not trying to be. I'm trying to be me,
myself.
You know, and I tell myself, like, if I skip right now, like, how will I feel after? I'll probably be upset because I'm not going to be able to fit it in later. I have a pretty scheduled out day.
Yeah.
And then I just get up. You can still have this conversation. I get up and I get dressed, brush my teeth. Now I'm in the mirror in the bathroom. Like, I can get an hour of sleep, or I can go get an hour workout. Like, which one is more? I'm like, you know what? Fuck, I'm gonna go. And then I walk into the gym, and I'm like, do I really want to do chest today? Like, I'm sore. Yep. But I have these conversations as I'm just doing it. And I told him, I said,
yourself accountability.
Yeah, just do it. Tell yourself.
I work out early when I'm on the road. That's about it, because I know that we'll go on work trips or whatever. You know, I'll be in meetings from 8 to 4, so I know I'm not gonna have any time to work out. So yeah, I'll do it at 6 a.m. But I'm like a 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock type of guy. You know, I'll grind from like 7 to 12, and then I'll be just zoned out by that time because you're just grinding. And you're like, oh, I need a nice little break. So my break is taking 2 scoops of pre-workout, taking a pump product, driving to the gym, clearing my head, working out for an hour and 20 minutes, doing some cardio, going back, and I'm refreshed. So I go back at 1:30, 2 o'clock, and then I work till 8 o'clock at night. So that's my thing. That's how I operate. Would that work for someone else? I don't know. Probably not. I'll tell you, if you're trying to build something and if you got a lot of shit going on, it's best to do that shit in the morning so you can just focus the rest of the day. Yeah, like it. But I've chased many, many, many rabbits, and now my rabbits are all at somewhat sustainable, right? So now I kind of have a little bit of freedom where if I want to work out at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I can. So I worked my ass off to do that. But when I owned my construction company, I had to work out super early in the morning or super late at night. And that was just part of the lifestyle. But that was all I had. And I couldn't be on a job site up in a tree. Sorry, guys, I'm going to shut the job site down for 2 hours while I go to the gym. They'd be like, what the fuck?
We got money to make.
Yeah, so like it's just for different strokes for different folks, whatever works for you.
And you just got to find what it is that works for you.
At this point in my life, that is what I like to do, and that's what works for me.
Like people look at me like, oh, do you bodybuild? Like, no. Oh, like you look this way, and it's like, no, the gym is a break for me. People make the gym almost like I have to go work out. To me, it's like, no,
I love it.
I get to work out because everything shuts off.
Yeah.
I have a plan that I follow that I've already created beforehand. So all I got to do is get under the weight and push it or pull it. No thinking.
Obviously, you're an athlete. It's just a great way to keep in shape. It's something to compete with. You don't have to be a bodybuilder to enjoy going to the gym. You know what I mean? Like, we all like to look a certain way. You know, working out, yeah, you get to look a certain way. Obviously, some people do it for the look. Some people do it for the health reasons. I do it for mental clarity. I do it because I want to look good. I want to look good in shirts. So, my daughter tells me, she's 18, she's a senior. She's like, there's no dads that look like you.
My daughter's
What is wrong? I'm like, fucking right, Darren.
my daughter's 12.
Like, I like that shit.
And every week we try to go to the courts and play basketball with all her friends because they all want to take me one-on-one and stuff.
Yeah.
And she's like, they're scared of you, like, because
You
you're so
should be.
big. And I'm like, nah, like, it is what it is. But like, then you see their dads and they can't play basketball. They
Right?
can't like.
They
and
can't
I'm,
even do anything with their kids.
Yeah, and I'm like, I tell them, I'm like, I'll play with all. Like, dude,
Yeah.
I'm 3-0 in the courts yesterday. Balled all these kids out. But
I love it.
it's cool because like you get to looking this way is just a byproduct of what's happening.
Listen, in business, man, when you walk into a room and you're built a certain way, people will look at you different because they know that you have some sort of discipline. I'm just telling you that right now. Like if I go to a business deal or a dinner or wherever, or just meeting someone and I get to shake their hand and they're just not put together physically, I'm not saying I'm stereotyping them, but I'm already on the fence.
It's a fact.
You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
a fact.
if you work hard, if you work out, if you take care of yourself, if you that's taking pride in yourself. It's like if you're selling me something and you look like shit, like if you don't take pride in yourself, you definitely don't take pride in what you're selling. Right?
That's a good.
So
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
it's interesting. No, that's an interesting way to put it. If you don't take care of yourself, how can I expect you to take care of this deal?
Right? How can I expect you to take care of us? You know, if I give you this, you're too lazy to go even walk on a treadmill for 30 minutes a day or 50, whatever. I don't know, man. A lot of the successful people that I know, highly successful people that I know, are super, super fit.
Because they take pride in what they're doing.
They do.
And I think, I know some people are going to be like, but there's obviously exceptions
There's
to the
exceptions
rule.
to
But
everything.
we're talking
Yes.
about daily average.
Yeah.
If you take pride in yourself, people know, and that's eating healthy, working out, taking time to read or work out your brain.
Discipline.
Discipline, yeah. And
Eating healthy takes discipline.
the gym is
Working
where
out
the
takes
discipline is built.
everything.
Like
Yeah.
people want to find an easy way to build discipline.
Yeah.
What better way to do it than starting a workout journey?
Most people just don't have the discipline. I love January because you see all these new faces in the gym and you see all these people that are doing weird shit in the gym, different exercise. Like, what the fuck is this dude doing? Like, it's funny. And then come February, middle of February, it's back to the way it was. Same faces,
It's unfortunate.
the same people that you were there with in December. And you're like, where'd the New Year people go? And it's just lack of discipline. Everybody thinks that it's easy to be disciplined, but it's not. It's not. Mike Tyson says it the best. Discipline is doing something that you hate, but doing it like you love it. Right? That's one of the most favorite things that he's ever said to anyone that just sticks in my brain. And that's really what it is. Discipline is doing shit that you hate, doing it like you love it.
Yeah, like
You're
discipline.
forcing yourself.
That's the thing. People, I work. You make it on time to work, right? Every day.
Yeah.
Well, it's because it pays the bills. So what? You've prioritized work.
Yeah.
Because it pays your bills. It's that same mentality. Prioritize the gym because it's going to pay the bills later, your health bills.
Fucking right.
And people always ask me, how do I start? How do you start? Walk through the door.
Yeah.
Walk through the door. It's the easiest way to start. It's going to suck.
Work at your own pace.
Yeah, it's going to
Just
suck.
show
It's
up.
going to be hard. And I love and hate January because you see all these new faces and I'm like, fuck yeah. People taking accountability, people realizing they know what they have to do. I also hate it because they're in the way of what I have to do at the gym. But that's beside the point.
Yeah.
And then come February, March, you see these people leaving or not there and you're like, fuck, what happened?
So I get people that ask me all the time, like, what does it take to be successful in anything? Keep showing up.
Be relentless.
That's all you do. Keep showing up.
I
all you do.
That's so true.
Show up when you don't feel like showing up. Show up when you have a bad day. Show up when you have a bad week. Don't quit. Show up when you had a bad month. Show up when your girlfriend broke up with you. Show up when your boyfriend breaks up with you. Show up when your wife cheats on you. Show up when you're freaking broke. Just keep showing up. If you keep showing up, something's going to happen, right? It's just like, that's the mindset I've had my whole life. It's like when I start something, I just have to finish it, or I have to keep doing it. I just can't give up, right? That's why it's so hard to walk away from some things, you know, like selling cars when you're making good money. It's not really the lifestyle that I thought I would have or that I wanted to choose, but you know, it's working and I'm making money, but I just keep showing up. I don't, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things. Just keep showing up.
Got to do what you got to do, and keep doing it. Mm-hmm. Where can people follow Project One if they want to know more, learn more, get behind it? Like, where can people?
We are everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Project1Nutrition.com. There's going to be a Martha Stewart wellness landing page. So Google Martha Stewart, Project 1 Nutrition. Man, we're going to be everywhere.
Taking the scene by storm.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
Yeah, we're just going to keep growing, keep doing right by people, keep adding more collaborations, keep influencing people, and build this sucker up, man. And I'm pumped. I'm excited.
I'm excited for you. I love seeing things grow and build, and from
fun.
day one. It's exciting. I appreciate you jumping on the Relentless project. This is the one with Gregg Rudolph, and we're out.
Let's go. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you.